Welcome back to Let's Talk About Our Feels, a short educational video series where we talk about mental health in relation to mindfulness practices. This week, we're talking about self-compassion. And here to help us do that is the co-founder of the Center for Mindfulness Practices, Tita Angangco. Diving right in, can you expand a little bit on what self-compassion is and how we can practice it?
There are three things that we need to note about self-compassion. The first one really is being kind to oneself. You know, it seems so simple, right? But we are not really kind to ourselves, so it's really holding ourselves with a gentleness that we would hold anyone we loved. The second thing in self-compassion is really having a sense that one is not alone in this world, that one's humanity is shared. Developing this sense of a shared humanity, a shared identity with other people. And this is important because we will always be imperfect. Understanding that we are all the same in that way, that we have both our best sides and our worst sides, and that we suffer the same kind of human condition is really important to our ability to be compassionate to ourselves and compassionate to others. And the third thing is mindfulness, because mindfulness actually allows us to investigate, explore, and experience in an embodied way what I mean by kindness and what I mean by having a sense of shared humanity.
How would you show compassion to a friend or loved one who was going through a hard time?
Now, you know, the same thing that I talked about in self-compassion applies to compassion for others, right? There are two elements there. One is the ability to empathize with someone else's suffering, recognizing that you suffer too. And the second one is the ability not to judge and to be really kind towards human fallibility. It's really about holding a space for your friend to feel pain, feeling with that person, and not judging the situation.
How do you engage with what you really want, and is that linked to your overall sense of self-care and self-compassion?
You know, that's an interesting question, because I think that many of us don't know what we want, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, if we look at it from a universal perspective, you can say that everyone wants to be happy. But what does it really mean to be happy? And there's so many things associated with happiness in our very kind of chaotic culture right now. Like there are the physical things, wealth, power, status, and then there are the immaterial things like a sense of self, a sense of belonging, a sense of meaning. So it's really important to kind of figure this out for ourselves, right? And how do we get to a place where we actually know who we are and what we want? I think if we know those things, we can actually be self-caring. You know what I mean? Because self-care is an interesting concept. You know, it's just not physical or some of the lower-level immaterial things. I think at the very heart of self-care is really a sense of one's personal journey and mission in life.
Well, thank you so much. This was very helpful.
My pleasure. Thank you.